I am Malaysian, but I don't believe in patriotism. I am Malaysian, but I don't agree with everything in our constitution. I am Malaysian, but that shouldn't give me more rights than people who aren't Malaysian. I'm Malaysian, but that doesn't mean that I like everything that is done in my name. I am Malaysian, but I can protest Malaysia. I am Malaysian, but I can disagree with you, even though you are Malaysian. I am Malaysian, but I can be ashamed of Malaysia. I'm Malaysian, and I'm happy when we get things right, when we jaga each other, when we respond to each other with white flags and red flags, when we fly black flags and yellow flags and rainbow flags and flags for Palestine, flags for peace, and flags for contract doctors and frontliners, when we protest against injustice or try to make schools a safer place or go on hunger strikes to demand compassion, fairness. But I don't call that being Malaysian. I call it being human. I am Malaysian, but you and I don't have to see eye to eye on everything. Malaysia isn't one thing, and the more we try to define it and insist on definitions, the more it will elude us. You and I can have different beliefs, faiths, points of view. You and I can argue and disagree vehemently about all kinds of things, politics, people, even paintings. But as long as we try to hold ourselves to universal standards of justice, fairness, and equality for all, I will have no real quarrel with you, just civil disagreements, which is the lifeblood of any democracy. Because I have no real quarrel with you, despite what I'm often told by the big batu api out there called government. We don't want any political or religious batu api to divide us and rule us anymore. Thank you very much. 58 years, dah cukup. But we just want someone to govern wisely and well. We have simple wants and needs, we Malaysians. We're not greedy people. We used to have the happiest prime minister in the world, so he said, who thought that making citizens happy was the most important thing a government could do. Not anymore. I think all we want to be is to be left alone, to be happy. We do know how to be happy. It's a gift we have. We know how to get on with each other very well. We've been intermarrying for centuries with no massacres, no genocides. We don't need a government now to tell us what we can or who we can and can't marry. We don't need detention camps for people who love differently. We've had a spectrum of genders here for centuries. Why now insist on just two? And even if you don't personally like it, it's really none of your business. You should be spending your time better. Time paid for us, your bosses, the taxpayer. What we want is to have a government who takes care of the important things, like sewage and drains, and cares less about what happens in our bedrooms, boardrooms, and bar rooms than they do about the eradication of poverty, healthcare, the creation of good education for all, and the inclusion of diverse art and culture to enrich our lives. In my future Malaysia, politicians will be bureaucrats, the way they are in Denmark. They will take public transport to get to work and spend their day working for a small, modest salary on making people's lives more comfortable. They will see public servants as a public service instead of a way to become rich and self-serving. I am Malaysian, and I want government to be a sideshow in my life, not the main show, stealing all my air and my mental good health. I do not want a government that denies my rights, that tells me I have fewer rights than my friends and neighbors because of some accident of birth or some false claim to soil. We are all accidents of birth. We were all born here on the same soil. There are no princes in Malaysia, only people. I am Malaysian, and I feel that same mixture that you feel of hope, anger, pity, love, frustration, shame, pride, joy, despair, hysteria, humor, desperation, strength, stubbornness that many of us feel every day here in Malaysia. We have the same small dreams, you and I, of something better. I am Malaysian, but I have no love of that thing called nationalism, which is a false god we are forced to worship as a way to exclude other people. Nationalism is a rubber stamp governments use to do things in our name, or a rubber baton used to beat people in our name. Some of the things done in my name, the incarceration of refugees, the ill treatment of migrant workers, the turning away of boats filled with desperate Rohingya refugees, is not something I want done in my name. Where can I go to remove my name from such acts? Where do I go and say, not in my name? I am Malaysian because of an accident of birth, as you probably are too. I'm Malaysian because of paperwork, boats, trains, ships, other people's dreams, my own hopes, my stubbornness, my own desire. I'm Malaysian because of the decision of my parents who chose to stay here rather than go away when things got rough. I'm Malaysian because of the love my parents had for this land, that generation of first Malayans or Merdekaans, who in the euphoria of post-independence believed they could be a truly happy people and did not think they were substituting one form of divide and rule colonialism for another. I am Malaysian because they and I stubbornly stayed. Look, it says it right here on my passport. Malaysian. But I am more than this. I am Malaysia. I am landscape. I am soil and roots and sky. I am running river. My migrant grandfathers cleared the land and planted trees. My Ipoh grandfather, after a long day teaching, cleared some land and built a house and planted a tree when each of his many children married, rooting their new lives into the earth. My Selangor grandfather, after a day spent at his civil service desk, went to his new home in the new township of Petaling Jaya, and together with newfound friends, built a new temple to invite their gods to join them in this new land, to protect them and it. After that, he cleared the unfertile red laterite land around his small house and planted rambutan, chiku, mango, coffee plants, and avocados. Neighbors came in the morning with their baskets. Help yourself, he would say. They woke up in the mornings and drank the coffee he planted. This is what grows in our tanah air: family, food, friendships, generosity to neighbors, generosity to new arrivals seeking a new place. All these which, when left alone, seem to work effortlessly across language, across culture. I am hills, valleys, a child of the soil. We are all Bumi Malaysia, all Bumi Manusia. We are all earth of mankind. I am a migrant, as were my grandparents, as is all of humankind. And right now, my feet are planted here in Malaysia. One day, my ashes will be scattered, as my grandparents were, across the rivers and estuaries of Malaysia. Across the Ganges too, maybe, as theirs were. And these ashes will find their way to new lands and new soil and make them better for a while, adding richness to the earth, so that someone, someday, can one day plant something new and green. I am Malaysia, but Malaysia is only a tiny particle of me. It is not in my DNA. I am in its DNA. Malaysia doesn't define me. I define Malaysia. I am not Malaysian. Malaysia is me. Malaysia is wherever we came from. And we, who are we? We are tanah air.